Hey, this is Nikki with FM99. It's FM99's Backstage Pass presented by Area 51 Tobacco and Novelties. I am here with Paolo from Trivium. How are you?
I'm very, very good. We're in Nashville today, so
Oh, I
I
love
think
Nashville.
we're gonna have a fun show tonight, I think.
Yeah, Nashville's such a fun town.
Yeah, it's crazy. We did a record here like 14, 15 years ago, and it's crazy to see how much the town has grown. It's pretty wild. It really is living up to the Nash Vegas title they have now.
Yeah, the last time I was there, I was amazed at they've got those like bar bike things going down
Oh
the
yeah.
street, and the Woo Girls is what we call them because.
Yeah, they also had a tractor thing now where this tractor pulls your like limo rig or whatever. It's very on brand for what they got going on out here.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Do you guys get any time to kind of hang out in the city or?
Yeah, we were here yesterday for the day off. Usually like our whole thing is if we have a day off, we try to get to the town we're going to be playing in
Yeah.
the day before. And allows us to kind of get out and maybe hit up some spots we like to go to or whatever. Usually the big focus is food, so we're always trying to get a good meal or two in wherever we're at.
Absolutely. Now, you guys are going to be here Tuesday at the
Yes,
NorVA. Do you have spots that you like to hit here?
I have to look back. I know there's a couple spots we've been because usually it's like a breakfast thing, and then we'll go for dinner somewhere. But with the amount of stuff we have during the show day, we usually just get the dinner brought in on these shows because
Yeah,
headlining is definitely a lot more work for everyone. Definitely more for the crew than us, but like with the show, the meet and greets,
yeah.
sound checks, and all that stuff. So we usually get out at least for breakfast. I know there's a good spot we've been there. I just can't think of the name, but if you want to try to find us out in town, definitely around breakfast. Find the greasiest spoon diner probably, and we'll be there.
Excellent. People are just going to be driving around Norfolk trying to
Yeah,
come meet
little
us.
Easter egg hunt right there for you.
Absolutely. So, you guys have been doing this for a minute.
Hmm.
If I read correctly, you kind of came into the band by accident. Is that right?
Yeah, we met when we were doing a couple shows together. Like I was from South Florida,
Okay.
Trivium was out of Orlando or just north of Orlando, and we did a couple shows, one in Tampa and we did one in Daytona. It's at different times when our bands were kind of starting. They started around the same time, and the original bass player Brent, he just wasn't feeling touring. He left after the first tour. The guy that got to fill in wasn't going to work, and I was at a point where I had been doing my own band for about 6 years, and I mean this was all through high school and stuff. And it's very hard to obviously find people that are going to commit the same way you want to.
Yeah.
Um, Anyone that's been in a band knows this. And so basically it was like, maybe I'm going to look outside of what I've been doing because basically was like the one that was always pushing to go further. And then I was like, I need to be with other people that feel the same way. And Trivium just had the spot open for bass. And it was just, perfect fate that kind of brought us together
Serendipitous.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was perfect. And we did, it was Machine Head, Chimera, Trivium. It was the Road Rage tour. It was unbelievable. I'd never experienced anything like that. I had just graduated high school 2 months before, and then
Gosh.
I was in a van traveling around the states and going to Canada for the first time, and it was a great experience. And I was like, I'm committing to this, no matter what it takes. And we all kind of felt the same.
Yeah. That's awesome to have that kind of synergy, between all of you.
Hmm.
So now you've been with the band since 2004. So, I mean,
Yeah.
almost, for argument's sake, almost 20 years.
Yeah, it's coming up on it. It's crazy to think that. I Hard to fathom, it's like the time has flown by, but then, I think back and I remember coming to the Norva, I think we did on that tour as well. And it's crazy to kind of fast forward and, being able to headline there, having a great bill with us, having bigger production, and just seeing how, our band has been able to kind of grow over time. And, I'm thankful we can play all these places across the states.
Yeah. We're thankful too, for sure.
Yes, yes, we love coming there.
So you guys have been together more than most marriages, longer than
Yeah,
most marriages
yes.
anyway. What is the key to that?
You learn to get over small things, I would say. I mean, probably is gonna sound like marriage stuff as well, you know? You don't let, like, little things kinda spiral into much more, and, I think, over time, we've learned that, and as we've gotten older, I think you don't, like, have the same sort of weird stuff that, like, annoys you anymore. I don't know. It's like we're doing when you're doing good, it's like if you can't appreciate what you're doing and what we get to do, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think you'll ever be happy. And I'm like, I would rather just be happy and not getting into small little petty fights over stuff. I mean, we really don't have like arguments and stuff. It's usually like everyone kind of throw your idea out there and we kind of figure out what the best of the ideas is, and it usually presents itself and we don't have to argue about it and make it a contest about who gets to have whatever they want happen.
Yeah. No, trying to strangle each other on the, on the bus on the way there.
No, no, it's definitely not like that at all.
Yeah. It's interesting, talking to like bands like you guys who've been together for so long, and then some of the newer bands where they're just super young and they're trying to
Yes.
figure this stuff out, and the vibe is so different uh,
Hmm.
between the
Yeah,
two.
you have a lot to prove and stuff, and when you're younger, you're just it's so much to kind of take in once you start touring and doing stuff. And I would say we haven't like we're lucky we haven't become jaded because I think you can become that doing it so long. I would say we just kind of all the little crazy stuff kind of has like gone away and we can just focus on the show and having fun and just enjoying this and without being jaded and being like, oh, okay, we're going on tour again. Like,
Yeah.
just none of that at all. We're always like very excited anytime we announce a show, anytime we announce a tour, there's definitely an excitement to it. And a lot of us, three of us have kids and stuff now, so this is this whole like new dynamic to this lifestyle and stuff. And that's definitely hard to have now, where you have to leave the family, but because we love what we do with this band and stuff, and like we consider our fans like kind of this like extended family. It's like
Yeah.
we leave home, but every city we're in, it's like we're invited back to a family get together in town, because it's like that's how our shows feel to us with fans and seeing people that have been coming out since the beginning and all the new
Right.
faces. It's just a very good positive vibe at our shows, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's funny, when the pandemic happened, obviously everything shut down. Missing live music was obviously a huge
Yeah,
part of it. But you're right, you get into these relationships with your favorite bands, and
yeah.
it almost became like you were missing those people,
Oh
you know?
yeah, it definitely was like that. The first tour, the metal tour of the year, it was like a great emotion. It was like just seeing people in the seats again, and what that felt like to kind of walk out on stage. It was like a really weird thing where I'm like, we missed it a ton going on tour. I will say, if anything, if any positive came out of the whole thing, it was nice to kind of have this like break
Yeah.
from touring. I mean, we go very hard, and I don't think we ever would have taken a break or a hiatus like that. And so we were kind of like forced to do it. And
Yeah.
as much as I miss shows, made the most of the time at home. So now being back out on tour, it feels like okay, we had our time off. We got to have this great time with our families under, with the circumstances not being the greatest, but with family was great. And, that it feels good to be back out and be, especially now headlining. We haven't done this in 4 years. So this really was something we were looking forward to.
Yeah, so exciting. What is your favorite part about it, about being back on tour?
Um, well, like I said, we are very much into eating food all
Yeah.
over. So that's a good one. I mean, the shows, of course, are number one because even when I'm like super tired throughout the day or even kind of feeling sick, like getting on stage is like a booster. You just feel like 100 times better no matter what. So that's definitely number one. Number two is just kind of hanging out and having fun with like our crew and us, and just a lot of laughter and just being like a bunch of dudes on tour just laughing and being dumb, and you can that's a priceless thing.
Yeah, I love that though, because being in the audience, we see you on stage, and of course, we have an idea of what
Hmm.
you all are like when you're together and behind the scenes. It's nice to hear that that is actually the case, because you don't know.
Yeah.
You guys kick off
Yeah. I would say we are, from what a lot of other people tell us, kind of a rarity where we're a band that really does hang out and we are friends and we are friends with our crew and stuff, I mean, obviously they work for us, but also, we're all in a bus together. So you have to kind of like, again, it's a lot of personalities, a lot of quirkiness, a lot of weird things, and you just learn to kind of like accept stuff and also to you learn about like giving other people space and just being accommodating to other people as well to make things nice on the bus. And maybe it's just because we're very adamant that it stays like that, but um I just feel like I want people to come on the bus if you're not on tour with us and be like, wow, this feels good. Like people are hanging. It's nice. It's not a
Yeah.
weird vibe. So yeah, we've seen the inner workings of other things, and we're like, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to be the opposite of that. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So your latest album is In the Court of the Dragon. It came
mhm.
out last year. I read that it was inspired by fantasy literature.
Yeah, there was it was actually the title of a book that I got. With Robert Chambers is the dude, and he's kind of like a it was kind of like a proto H.P. Lovecraft type story that he wrote.
Okay.
And heavy metal likes Lovecraft and all that sort of stuff. And I like the story, I like the visuals, the ideas, and I like that we could kind of run with it in our own direction. Especially though the title was just too good not to use as a song, and eventually the album title. And so yeah, we just kind of developed. I would say it's almost like we wrote something slightly inspired by it, but kind of took it in our own direction. And because we had so much time, we were able to get an artist to really make us this masterpiece of a painting for our album cover. And
It's amazing.
and if for anyone that has never seen it, it's at our hangar space now. It's this gigantic painting that's just sitting in there, and it's really inspiring to see artwork like that, and I love that we can actually have it ourselves. Because when we go in there to practice, it's nice to just have that up in the background, kind of reminding us what we made. And it was album 10, and we made two records in like 2.5 years, and it was we kept creative through it all. We weren't able to tour and do that part of the job that we love, but we were able to do the other side of it that we love, which is to make music and just keep ourselves busy, keep the minds working. And I mean, that was, besides being with family, like being able to actually make music through the pandemic and kind of like always knowing that we'll get back out. We just got to stay focused on this music and just having fun with that. It gave us a real big project to keep our minds off of anything that would have been kind of a bummer, like, well, we haven't toured in 2 years.
Right.
I wasn't counting down the days. I was like, we're in the studio, we're busy, we're doing stuff, and we did a bunch of streams too. So we kept an outlet out there to people. I know many people told us they loved that they could like tune into these things and see it, and kept them happy. So I'm glad we were kind of able to keep some sort of live experience going through it.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because things like this, right? Like we didn't really do a lot of this
Hmm.
before the pandemic. So it's been kind
Yeah,
of a happy accident of it is
yeah,
they kind of get a peek into who you are and your personality and you know
yeah.
things that's a good thing that has come out of it for
We
sure.
were a little lucky because Matt had been doing Twitch for quite a bit. Really about 3 years before all this, he started. So I guess he's been doing it for like 4 or 5 years now. Because I remember I told him I read about something. I'm like, hey, check this thing out called Twitch, because he was doing a YouTube thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, this kind of sounds cool because it's like in real time, and he started doing that, and it's actually really taken off and done pretty well. But we've kind of like incorporated the band into it as well, because we were streaming our live shows for quite a while. And kind of figuring out how to do that and what that took. And then when everything happened, it was like, oh, like we've been doing this already.
Yes,
And
seamless.
so we were able to do we did a couple more like high budget live productions, and then we did a couple free ones that were like more, hey, we're going to play a set of songs we would never do, like all of these on a tour, like real deep cuts. And it was super fun. And honestly, I would say what inspired us with this tour was some of that stuff was where we just kind of went back into the back catalog and we were like, we have nothing to do but play at practice and rehearse. So
Yeah.
we were like going in, hey, let's play this one. We haven't played in forever or never even played with Alex. And now we're on tour. We're like, well, we got this big arsenal of songs that we can kind of drop in whenever. And so, um, we're playing. We have a couple spots in the set that rotate, and one's like a spot for these two in wave songs that we've like barely played or never played. We're doing new songs that are kind of like rotating in and out. Doing a song called Shogun, which is like a title track of our fourth record, which is this like really long song that, I mean, that record and that song have become real fan favorites.
Yeah.
But it's always tough to do when you got a 45-minute set. So like
Right.
now we're like, okay, we got a long set and we can take our time. We can play some of these songs, and it's just been really fun to like see the reaction from the crowd because in our meet and greets, a lot of people always like say to us how they appreciate that we don't just play the same stuff all the time, and part of that's for us just to keep sane, and then
Yeah.
part of it is like 10 records, you gotta change it up. I've always loved like Metallica rotates their sets quite a bit and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so there's no reason that we can't with 10 albums. There's no reason we can't get creative with these sets at this point.
Definitely, yeah. And it's always fun, like you said, when you play a deep track that maybe you don't always play and the audience is still singing along, it's like,
Oh yeah, it's
yeah,
it's surprising. I mean, even with new songs, I'm always like, a song that was on like not this new record, but the one before it, and it's like not a single, and it's maybe one of the best like live songs off the record, and I'm like, it's just something happens that like connects with people, and like you can never guess what that song's gonna be, and I think it's fun to watch. I mean, heavy music, metal, rock fans are a lot more invested in beyond just singles.
agreed.
And I mean, I think singles and stuff. I personally like. There's a strong place for those and what they do for our bands, but it's nice because the people that pay for tickets, pay for meet and greets, like those are the people that are like, I want song 9 on album 3,
Yeah,
like, and we gotta also, even if half the crowd doesn't know what we're playing, it's like playing that song for that person. I mean, it goes a long way. And I also, any new fans that come in, I don't want to like kind of be like, well, we can't play this. They haven't heard it. It's like, well, this is how they're going to learn it. Like
exactly.
sometimes hearing a song live makes you connect with it way more. And even some of the songs that we play, I'll be like, maybe I didn't like it on the record as much, but playing it live, it feels like 100 times better. And
Yeah.
I think for fans, it can be like that as well. And I've experienced that when I see bands I like. I'll be like, wow, wasn't really into that song as much until I saw it live, and it finally connected.
Yeah, yeah. It like feels different. It sounds different.
Yeah.
Then there's times when I'll hear a song that maybe I don't recognize and I look it up and that's it, right? Like, oh, I have heard
Yeah.
this song. It didn't sound
Yeah,
like that to me
different.
before.
Yeah, Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden is that song, the one I would always point to, which is it's good on the album, but the live version is always better because the crowd sings the part in the beginning
Yeah.
that's not obviously on the live or the recorded version. So I'm like, I can't listen to the recorded version as much as the live version they have because it's always better with the crowd.
Yeah.
That made it. And I do feel like, we'll get that with some of these songs. I'll just be like, man, the live version is just so much better. But there's no way we could have captured what we're doing with the crowd right now, unless we like literally had the audience in the studio somehow. And
Right.
that's
Let me
but
let me
it's
know when you
good.
figure that out.
Yeah, one day, maybe. Well, we got our big hanger now. Sorry if I couldn't say it, but we have our big hanger, and maybe we'll bring a crowd in. We'll figure out how to get them on a song or something.
Heck yeah. That would be an awesome video too.
Yeah, that would be fun. That will be fun.
Yeah. So you guys released an album in 2020, What the Dead Men Say, and then In the Court of the Dragon in
Yeah.
2021. So your first tour after the pandemic, you were kind of touring 2 albums for the first
Yes.
time.
Yes, and that is why this headlining tour is called Dead Men and Dragons, because it's 2 albums in one tour, basically, where we're kind of doing our best to get songs in that we've played from these records, haven't played from these records. We even had to make a couple tough choices because like one of the songs that was one of the singles. We were like, well, we played on Metal Tour of the Year, and we're coming back through some of these places, and
Yeah.
maybe not everyone at the show went to that tour, but enough went to that tour that we want to give them something new. So it's like we're always we're having to like even 75, 80-minute sets are like a really tough choice for
Yeah.
like new songs and old songs. So it's like we're doing our best to keep people getting their money's worth, because I know a lot of our fans go to like these sport tours we do, like Metal Tour of the Year, and I know they're expensive. So I'm like, I never want people to be like, okay, you played the same exact set. I knew what was coming.
Right.
Even like what we're opening with is different. And the Maiden tour, we had different opener. We had a different look to the stage. So we're just trying to keep things interesting for people that maybe seen us a couple times, because people come out at the meet and greet and be like, "This is my 50th time seeing you," and I'm like, "Oh man, we got to keep things interesting here. This
Right.
is a lot
No
of work."
pressure.
Yeah, I'm like, we cannot slack on anything ever, like, because people are coming back and back and back, so we have to keep it interesting for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So obviously you've got two new albums. Is there new stuff in the works anyway? Is it one of those things you're always doing?
Yeah, we definitely are always thinking about stuff. I don't think we'll do a new record probably for a little bit, because with the two records back to back, that's quite a bit. I mean, we'll always start working on stuff early, but like I think it will be a little before that. But I do think we are talking about maybe trying to get maybe a kind of a standalone song or single together,
Yeah.
maybe a cover or something, just something fun, because we're also like at our hangar space, we're going to build a studio in there, and kind of part of that is like we kind of need to like record stuff to test stuff out to figure it
Yeah.
out, and before we kind of commit to making a record in there, we'll probably need to just kind of like record some stuff just to like, hey, what's the room sound like? We did actually do um one thing in there so far, like just drums and bass, but not like everything. And the room actually did sound pretty good. So we're like doing some stuff, using that as like trial run, which is good because then fans will get some stuff from us,
Yeah.
in the meantime before we, put ourselves in the room and really commit to doing a record and stuff and figuring it out. But we're always, I could say like, oh, we're not going to do any new stuff for a bit, and like after a month or two from a record, it's like, okay, we're thinking about the next thing, because we love it as much as touring. So it's really hard to kind of be like, we got to do a record now. I'm like, it's never been like that. It's always exciting, but it is a lot of work. And we do know like, okay, we did two records back to back. Gives people a little space from us with that stuff, maybe a song here and there, but eventually we will return with something else, and just got to figure out what it is, and how we can top ourselves if possible.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, I mean, number one, it's contagious energy, which I think
Yes.
is amazing. And you guys have so many big things going on. It's really, really
Yeah.
exciting.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, we are very fortunate. It's never been easy to tour, but anyone that knows like how things are right now, like touring is very, very tough. And basically everyone came back from COVID and everything was a lot more expensive, including of course just the cost of touring and stuff. So I'm like, our fans have really come through for us. I mean, our hometown show in Orlando has already sold out, and we've already had a couple, and a lot of the shows have been really big. So I'm
Yeah.
like, in a really kind of trying time to tour, like we're very lucky to have loyal fans and people that will, spend the money to come see us, even
Yeah.
on a weekday.
Well, and again, you will be here Tuesday. I'm really, really excited to
Yeah.
see you guys at the
Yeah.
NorVA this Tuesday, October
Yes.
18th.
We're excited. We were ready to come back, and it might be Tuesday, but we'll make it try to feel like the weekend as much as we can. Make you forget about, oh yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. I got to go back and do this now, and
Yeah, we'll forget.
that's all we can do. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all we
it'll
can
be
do.
great.
We'll try to do our best to give you an excuse to call in the next day. I'm
That's
not
right.
feeling good.
Yeah, I've got something going on. I need to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
them.
You will sound like you have a sore throat, so you can at least use that as an excuse.
That's true. That's very true. Well, I'm excited to see you guys.
We can't wait. Thank you.
Enjoy your next few shows, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, take care, and thank you so much for this.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with me. That was FM 99's Backstage Pass, presented by Area 51 Tobacco and Novelties.